in any other walk of life. That's the opening line to just one of Manchester United's articles in this morning's papers, and they are going in on Ten Hag's team this morning. I can tell you that for nothing. This is the paper round, everybody. Welcome along. It is Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everybody. Hopefully you have resisted the urge to put that chocolate in that cereal or even take a little bite out of your kids' Easter eggs so far today. We are talking football. We are into the papers. We gave our verdicts last night. I think we were all just too tired and fed up and wanted to just get to bed and try and forget about what happened last night in that game. But the papers this morning are just reminding us now of exactly what happened last night for United. There is so much more in the papers today with other stuff as well, but I think that headline right there, bottle jobs in the back of the Mail, tells you everything you need to know. And that isn't even for Manchester United. I thought, you know what, there's the perfect headline, looking into it, and I went, bloody hell, that's not even United. So who else was just as bad? Well, there's plenty, and believe it or not, I think it's quite ironic that both Manchester United and Chelsea play each other on Thursday night, and I would say are probably the most two bottle job merchants of this season. Two teams that have massively underachieved. I think it's ironic how we are actually in a position now where going into this game, both managers on the verge of making cup finals and domestic cup wise doing all right, really under scrutiny and jobs completely on the line. Is this an El Sacco on Thursday night? Because it can pretty much confirm Manchester United, I think we're out of it anyway. I think last night killed Champions League for me, and we'll get into what everyone else is saying in the papers today, but I think Manchester United's biggest concern right now is with the way we played last night and how these players really do not care at all about the football club and the team and the fans, like we said, is are we going to get European football at all this season? Because we've seen what Newcastle did. I want to talk about that as well. We've seen what West Ham are capable of. There is no guarantee United will have any European football now. 2 days ago, I was full of beans, fully confident that Manchester United could make Champions League football. Ten Hag saves his job. We win the FA Cup. And then last night, they just reminded everyone who loves this football club, how poor and how pathetic they really are. I'll get into all of that, and obviously your comments. I can see you all joining already. I hope you're all well, everybody. We are into the morning papers. I've got my croissant, I've got my jam, I've got my Kinder Egg. It's fully loaded this morning. Kids are running riot, and yeah, happy Easter to everyone. Please give the video a like, guys, and if you are tuning in for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. The papers are awash with negativity and going in on Manchester United, as you can expect. Like, no one can really say we don't deserve it. There's some damning stuff. I mean, I don't know where to start, actually. I'll carry on this piece in the Mail here, just from what I opened with on the show. Well, Aliens in with a super chat. Adam, Mike Bassett is available. Do you know what? I said it in the week, didn't I? Like, I'd still have Ten Hag now, like, over the other managers that are being rumoured to be wanting to come to Manchester United. I would take Ten Hag still, even after yesterday. And everyone can go in on me here right now and say, look, Manchester United, look at the stats, look at what's going on. Like, how can you want Ten Hag still? I need someone better. I need someone better. I'm not having Potter, De Zerbi, Southgate. I'm still having Ten Hag. I just want to make that point clear now. And hopefully, you can all understand where I'm going with that. But last night, the players, oh my God. So let's just go over what the Mail are saying again, first of all, in their write-up of this game. United stung by the bees. I think it was an allergic reaction to a bee sting early on in the game, because we just looked numb completely from, I would say, what, the 20th minute till the end? Like, deprived of any idea of what football means to anyone. Like, they didn't have a clue how to handle Brentford. We were battered from pillar to post. I'll get through as many of these headlines as I possibly can, just so you can see what the media who were at the game were saying. We were watching it on TV, some were at the game. A big shout out to TJ, who got Mason Mount's shirt, by the way, my man on the front row there. I seen him on TV. Big shout out to you, my man. It was, I think, much deserved. You've been on that front row enough now, and you deserve getting a shirt. And you know what? Mason Mount, one of the few players to come out of that game yesterday with any credit. There were stories about that and that social media post that United put out as well, which I want to get into, which was, again, let's say, ill-timed. Typical Manchester United. So, Just to go back on this one from last night, which read, just as Manchester United set about celebrating a heist that would warrant a prison sentence in any other walk of life, they were trapped by the realities of their own ineptitude. Even the gift of a 1-0 lead in the depths of stoppage time is not safe in those slippery fingers. I'll go on to read a bit more so you can understand what people were watching, and you probably agree. But before we got to the wildest of finales and 2 goals between the 96th and 99th minutes, it is necessary to reflect on the craziness that happened before it. That being the sheer insanity of a 0-0 scoreline and how little Manchester United had done to deserve 1 point, let alone 3. For make no mistake, they had been pummeled and embarrassed in so many ways apart from any of those that matter. 100% bang on the money in the analysis there from the Daily Mail. Now, I always say it all along, like, you can criticise the media, you can criticise the tabloids, the agendas that they drive. Some will say over the top, just looking for negativity. But when it comes to football, the one thing that you cannot deny is the eye test. What you are watching, no one can convince you otherwise of what you've just witnessed on that pitch. And everything that was said there, pummeled, embarrassed, humiliated, these are the words that are coming out over all of the papers this morning. And I think they are bang on the money. I mean, just to go into one, there was a story that came up on the Mirror this morning that I looked through of Peter Schmeichel's words on the game last night. And he's going in on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, completely digging him out. Look, he's jogging. Look at him, he's jogging. These were his words when looking back at the video footage of that equalising goal. If he'd have stayed in line in the first place, then Tony would have been offside and we wouldn't have been defending that goal. But how can you only be jogging? It just shows the standard of where these players are and the desire to wear that Manchester United shirt. Everyone is looking in on this and they are bewildered at how much effort Manchester United are putting in, why they just don't give a toss about winning games or what it means to wear that Manchester United shirt. Ex-United players, when you've got the likes of Jamie Carragher, I mean, yeah, a career ruined by injury, and he probably could have been a good player, but when you've got him absolutely slaughtering your so-called biggest star in Marcus Rashford, and I'm agreeing with Jamie Redknapp on this, not Jamie Carragher, Jamie Redknapp on this, and I don't usually at all. I don't really like what Jamie Redknapp has to say, but he was bang on the money when he was talking about Marcus Rashford walking around the pitch. His words were saying he's out there walking around like it's a bit of fun. It's exactly what it looks like to him. It's like, I went in on Marcus Rashford last night, and you know what, sometimes in the heat of the moment, you'll wake up the next day and look back on what you've done, watch the videos and everything that you've put out, and you'll go, probably I was a little bit knee-jerk there and gone in a bit hard. I've listened back to what I've said about Marcus Rashford last night, and I'm not taking any of it back. I'm not taking any of it back. The man is an absolute disgrace to the shirt. And I won't regret saying it because I know inside me what I feel. But I mean, opportunity-wise, in terms of getting anything with the club and stuff like that, it's obviously if you're out there and you're slagging the players off, then you're not going to get much opportunity to grab any interviews in the future or things like that. Do you know what? Right now, sod it. I'm a fan and I am disgusted with my team. Like, one of the staff members that I spoke to the other day at United, naming no names, said they have given up on trying to defend Manchester United players now because they're just shit, basically. Those were the words, like, the crap. We can't defend them anymore. We've given up. Those were the words coming out of the football club. You can just take that from me. I know that, and I know what's happening inside there because I was told directly that there's just nothing that you can defend them with anymore. There isn't. There really isn't. And I think everyone going in this morning, I mean, let's just do the social media post. So the Mirror are also reporting as well. I'm sorry it is all United. It is covering everything right now. But I have got some other club news as well if you want to hang around for that. But on United right now, more from the Mirror, the social media post, which was met with a massive backlash. So I can understand the post, which pretty much read a disappointing night for the Reds, but I think a momentous moment or something like that, they said, for Mason Mount. plenty of M's in there, M&M's, Easter eggs. Oh, no, carry on, football. And yeah, Mason Mount getting that goal, that's good for him. It's fantastic that he has come back from what has been a nightmare season. And do you know what? They couldn't even hold on to that moment for Mason Mount, could they? I mean, the guy has been through hell all season. Like, we have discussed in depth why we bought him. He's been the wrong signing. A lot of people have said that. I agree with that. I think he has been the wrong type of signing. We didn't need him because we've not played him. And he's had injuries 4 months out this season. He's been patient. He's been the professional. He's worked hard. He's got himself back in the team. And last night, he took his goal fantastically well. Brilliant finish. Fantastic moment for him. We didn't deserve it. By no way did we deserve that goal. And definitely didn't deserve the win. But do you know what? You've been given that gift. A player's come on off the bench. And do you know, that could have just saved Ten Hag a bit. He's made a substitution. He's bought the duck egg, which is Marcus Rashford, off. Mason Mount is on the pitch. And Mason Mount has got us out of jail and got us the win. Now that looks like we're talking a little bit differently. This morning, the papers could have read Ten Hag sees the issues, makes the change and wins the day. You walk away sometimes not having played well, but you've got the 3 points. Ten Hag is a master of this. But eventually, them close wins that we've had all season, we've probably not deserved, will end up catching up with you. And last night against Brentford, that was exactly what happened with Manchester United. I felt sorry for Mount, I really did. He deserved more from that. And social media has completely gone in on Manchester United. Some of the comments, all this club cares about is social media interaction, read the room, not now. They actually listed some of the actual replies on the paper as well. I'm going to go with, actually, let's get into some of your comments quickly on this. Hello everyone, if you are just joining us, make sure you do give the video a like and you are hitting that subscribe button if you're tuning in for the first time. We are doing the paper round and we are well into what has been said last night about United. I've got some even more damning reports coming from yesterday in other papers, so hang on there. But I'm going to bring you guys in on the conversation right now. Okay, which, let's just get through some of them. Direct to me, we were so bad I didn't even celebrate when we scored. That's saying something, that. Paul Lucas, Ineos need a statement selling in the summer. Marcus Rashford, please. Let's see what else we've got in here. What's in the Kinder Egg? A wobble head. Eric Ten Hag, says Alien 10 with the super chat. Cheers, Alien. I'd like to remind everyone about the cup game we had earlier in the season against Palace, where we started without Rashford and McTominay and we played so well. I remember that game. Palace were on the beach. Not actually on the beach, but forgot to turn up as well, Dobby. So I know what you're saying by that. And there is definitely a way forward without Marcus Rashford and McTominay. I'm going to go through the team that I would play against Chelsea on Thursday with you in a minute. Just out of performance levels and what these players have given us over the last few weeks, and especially last night. Lee Dixon says, I would love Carragher and Keane to assess Bruno. He's the main one for me. Completely lost it at United. You know what Kaz was saying, a good point the other day. It's like we went into everyone last night, and obviously there are some big names at the football club now, like the ones that have been there a while. Lee said it there with Bruno, Rashford, McTominay. These players are the ones that are going to get the stick. But Garnacho was horrendous last night, and Mainu had his worst game in the United shirt. And Kaz was making the point, like, it's not their fault. They will be dragged down to the level of the senior players at this football club. The senior players that Manchester United keep giving new contracts to. Scott McTominay will probably end up getting a new contract. You've seen clearly last night that that team and them players are not capable of taking Manchester United where Ineos have said they want to take the club. So the opportunity is there in the summer. I'll say it again. If you want to move forward, it will be without McTominay and Rashford in the starting lineup. I'm holding on to hope that Bruno can actually turn his career around again, but he has been dragged into the mud, and I cannot defend his performance again last night or his previous ones. I love him. I love the enthusiasm of the man. But you cannot, like I said at the start of the show, unsee what you've seen. The eye test is everything, and you know what you watched last night, which was pitiful, pathetic, pointless football. And these players really could not give a toss about what happened on that pitch, what results and what implications it has to their season. They will walk away and come back another day. And that's just their job. Like, there is no repercussions for these players, it would seem, at all. So, yeah, in terms of the other players, the younger ones, I'm really dreading the future for them if these players still hang around at the football club and are here come the end of the season. It's hugely concerning for them, and I think we're seeing, like, Bruno has hung on and hung on and hung on, and some would disagree and say, look, he's been bad for years. I don't have that. I don't think that is the case. I think he has been a shining light in this team for many a years, but right now I think he's there. I think they've finally broken him, and there's nothing. Ten Hag doesn't know how to use him, doesn't know where to play him. He's moved him around everywhere. He's not been able to settle in one position all season for me. He's not controlled. He's not given certain roles to do it from the outside looking in. I just think he's a bit of an headless chicken who runs everywhere. And there is a manager out there that can find a way to utilise that energy from Bruno Fernandes. I don't think Ten Hag and the squad that he's got, he's been able to. But he's been here 2 years now, Ten Hag, near enough by the end of this season. And people are saying, look, we can see what he's trying to do, but he hasn't got the players to do it. I'll go back to what I said last night quickly before I move on, and that is, Aaron Wan-Bissaka has played on the right-hand side his whole career. Why all of a sudden is he playing on the left when you've got a guy in Dalot who can play on the left? And why are we trying to make Aaron Wan-Bissaka not only play on his wrong side in a position he doesn't play, but a style of that position which he is not capable of doing in the inverted fullback? And Brentford completely utilised that flaw in United's setup yesterday and battered us down that right-hand side of theirs. Our left-hand side was just completely exposed every single counter-attack for Brentford. And we will get criticised for that. Ten Hag will get criticised, and he will come under pressure for that. The players' attitude, that's on them. But that tactic last night and not seeing that early enough for me is a massive, massive issue for me with Ten Hag. I still cannot figure out how he is not realising that things are going wrong on the pitch and changing it sooner. I really don't. Judge and jury, Bruno hasn't had a rest since he joined. He looks done in to me. He had the full week off, like, back from international duty earlier. There was no excuse yesterday. Like, I'll say this in a minute, actually, because I said it last night as well. People are saying these players are tired. I'm sorry, we said this when we got beaten by Newcastle 1-0 at St James's Park, and the same players were the problem then. Marcus Rashford mopsing around, Martial, Ten Hag doing his nut on the sideline, trying to figure out what these players are doing. Newcastle played the same as United did that week. We had more fresher players. They had to play the exact same 11 that played in Europe in that week. Like United did, we both had big games, but United had 3 or 4 fresher players, one of them being Marcus Rashford. And we were outrun, outfought, and we're left for dead by Newcastle. This is exactly the same game here. And I'm making an example because I made a point about Anthony Gordon for England and Rashford, the kick up the arse that he really needs, because Gordon's going to take his place. Newcastle, with 15 minutes to go against West Ham yesterday, players going off injured, 2 more defenders off injured in the game, down to the bare bones, substitutes being substituted for the sake of injured players and trying to make a system on the pitch. And they were 3-1 down with 15 minutes to go. If that was United, we'd have lost about 7-1. We'd have felt sorry for ourselves. The stadium would have been emptied. But the Newcastle fans clung on because they seen effort coming from their players. And Anthony Gordon, to his credit, dragged Newcastle over the line yesterday. All he did was want it more and took advantage of a situation. Phillips went in late. He got the penalty. 3-2. Changed the game. Newcastle won. Now right on our coattails, and they have got no one. They have injuries up to their eyeballs, and you're still seeing effort of players coming in to that team and making it work for them. There is zero excuse for Ten Hag when it comes to fitness, when it comes to injuries. When you see what they're doing over there at Newcastle and what Manchester United's excuses are in this, then there's no help at all for Ten Hag. There really isn't. His players have let him down once again, and he needs to start coming out and outing them. He's going to end up getting the sack defending these players. You might as well go out on a high, Eric, and just say, They are crap. They are not good enough. I know he can't in reality, but it's got to a stage now where these performances keep coming out of Manchester United, and Ten Hag is the one who's getting most of the blame for it. Yes, we're all talking about players and their attitudes and everything like that. It's a case of, look, Ten Hag is still going to get all of the stick. He's going to get all of the critique coming for his players because he's the one picking them. There's no excuse for him there. That's the problem he's got. He's got players that can come in. Newcastle is below United in the table. Graham, he's had too many drinks. Listen to what I said, mate. Newcastle right behind us. I know they're behind us, but they will come ahead of us, and they will probably beat us at Old Trafford. Graham needs to wake up. He's been on too much chocolate. I still think the main problem is wages. These players think they've made it. They win a game, and they think they're Ballon d'Or winners. Stu, I can't disagree with that at all. Like, literally, we were talking about this yesterday. It's like we have bad results, then one good result, and then they sit on that thinking that it's all okay and we're done. Like celebrating the Liverpool game, it was fantastic. I was the same. It was a momentous day. But as a United player, you switch off and move on. You've got more important things. Like, you've not won anything yet. Oh, I wanted to bring up something that I know the Sun is the Sun. Like, you can have your own opinion on them. But again, you can only report on what you see. And when it comes to football and watching a football match, the stats don't lie. The table doesn't lie. Like Graham says, Newcastle are below us, but they will take us if we carry on like this. They've been awful and are right on our coattails. So that tells you everything, how bad we have been. But Man United managed 11 shots compared to Brentford's 31. Like, corners was 14-4. And it reads in the paper, in the Sun, a 1-1 draw had a dramatic ending when Mason Mount's 96th minute goal was rendered obsolete by a goal up the other end from Christopher Asia. I think I said that right, sorry. Asia, I think it is. Just moments later, but even a share of the spoils seemed like a smash and grab from Manchester United point of view, with Ten Hag's side well and truly battered. There's that word, battered again. Thomas Frank's Brentford peppered the Manchester United goal, registering 31 shots over the course of the game. The onslaught of efforts from the Bees means United joined Sheffield United as the only Premier League team to have faced more than 30 shots in a game this term. That on its own is damning. To put that into perspective, league leaders Arsenal have conceded just 23 shots in their last 3 games. And we're supposed to be competing with them, and Ineos are taking us to that point where we're going to be up there challenging for trophies. I mean, seriously, this now is at a stage where there's no return for Ten Hag unless he wins every game now from now until the end of the season. We said that Brentford needed to be the game that set everything in motion, needed to be the game where United got the win and then we could go into the bigger games with a little bit of momentum. Well, we blew that one big time. I mean, looking at the table right now, Aston Villa sits on 59 points in 4th position. Having played a game more, but they are 11 ahead of Manchester United as it stands right now. That's too much. That's too much. Yes, they've got City next, but Manchester United have got Chelsea and Liverpool next. The more you try and make a case for Manchester United, looking at that table right now, the more you end up just hitting a brick wall, because like last night's performance reminded us all of exactly why Manchester United are in the position we're in. It's like one good game, a couple of good games, one bad game. Like the inconsistency of this team. I think that was only our 3rd draw of the season, believe it or not. It really is. But looking at, you only have to look at the goals. Like the goals scored, Manchester United 40. Like you have to go down, all the way down to Crystal Palace to find the first team that has scored less than Manchester United. Even Brentford themselves, who drew us last night, in a dog race have got more goals than Manchester United. Luton, in the relegation zone, have got more goals than Manchester United. Their first ever season in the Premier League, they've got more goals than Manchester United this season. Defence isn't much better. It really isn't. Like, it's the worst. Let me just check. No, actually, it's all right. I said that wrong there. I do apologise. The defence is, well, it's in the top 5. Ooh, get excited about it if you want. But yeah, no, it's, for us now, Manchester United fans, it's the worry about what's to come from now until the end, because I don't see how we gain any points. I mean, you only have to look at the other headlines in the paper. Right next to Manchester United is Marathon Man's son, the saviour for Spurs again. Players wanting to play for their manager. Like I just said about Eddie Howe's Newcastle team and how they will play for him and how they will run through brick walls and keep going till the last minute. United are not going to do this. I thought we'd got it back. I thought we'd actually got it back against Liverpool. I thought, you know what, Ten Hag has done something here. We've had a meeting, or the players have got together. That team bonding, that's what I said, wasn't it? They went out to the Ivy and didn't spend a penny because the club, for some reason, decided that they were going to pay. Like, oh, don't spend any of your multi-millions, players. We'll buy you. We'll just wrap you up in that bubble and make sure you've got that security escort away from the restaurant, because you are absolute superstars. Yeah, I thought we'd got something back, but we didn't. But Marathon Man's son, the saviour of Spurs again. Another comeback from Spurs. Like, these are the things that used to happen at United. I'm looking at Spurs there. Villa, 2-0 against Wolves. Looked like a tricky game on paper. They have got the mentality it takes. You've got Emery there. You've got Ange Postecoglou there. The players will run and work for their managers. They will do anything. Ten Hag clearly has not got these players. Again, it's like, you looked at Ten Hag's face last night. Was it just me, everybody? Oh, in that post-match interview, when he was saying that Brentford wanted it more, he just looked dejected. He looked like a ghost. He looked like he was completely finished to me. It was a sorry sight. I've seen this before. I've seen this with Ole. Like, it looks like the life has been drained out of him trying to manage Manchester United. And that's how it looked. That's how it looked to me with Ten Hag last night. And I felt sorry for him. I really did feel sorry for him, because you haven't got any answers. Like, he knows he's walking in to a massacre from the British media when he's going into that post-match press conference. I don't know whether or not, I don't think he would have, because it might be too early, whether or not he would have done the pre-match press conference for Chelsea and got it all out of the way, just so he didn't have to face the media again later on this week. But you've got to look at that and the actual physical state of Ten Hag as well. Like, it does look like it is taking its toll on him now. He looks lost on the sidelines there. I mean, yeah, the manager is going to celebrate. It celebrated that Mount goal like he just pulled off a masterclass in tactical football. Like, no, Eric. Yeah, celebrate the goal like you've got away with one, I think is more to the case there. But really, you look at it and go, I don't know what he can do. This was the big one last night. Like we said, everyone was rested. Everyone had the perfect amount of game time. Everyone was saying, like, it's the perfect international break ever. I watched other channels and other people talking about it. Even the media was saying it's gone really well for Manchester United. Everyone is fit. Everyone is coming back. But you get a performance like that, and then you just go into panic mode as a United fan. You go, well, what I can actually see happening now is, like, we'll get a bloody response against Chelsea, but then lose against Liverpool. It's the perfect setup for this Manchester United side, where we can go now and get a response against Chelsea, but then get smashed by Liverpool. So it's, oh, we're doing all right, but then we lose again. We're in that flux again where we get a good result, then we get a bad one. It's happened so many times this season, and we're in the middle of it again right now, I feel, because the games that are coming, I'm really, really worried. Like, I'm scared about going Bournemouth. I'm scared about Chelsea. I'm scared about Liverpool. After watching last night, Brentford and where they are in the league, like, they are 5 points from safety. And they battered us, 31 shots in a game. Battered us, pummeled us, humiliated us. Those are the words in all of the papers this morning, and they're bang on it. Ramo in the chat says, Ten Hag sacks himself with these horrendous decisions. Don't feel sorry for him. Andy says, I couldn't celebrate the Mount goal. It was embarrassing. When it gets you to that stage, then it is really worrying. The states of both Chelsea and United this weekend. What delights await us Thursday night? Chumps, a lot of them. Alien says he knew what he was getting into. LVG told him. Dead right with that one. Mr T, can't understand how anyone gets emotionally attached to managers or players. No, it's hard to fathom that. It really is. But it's just what's embedded in us, isn't it? We love our football club and we cling on to everything that we possibly can. We are programmed to find a positive in what we're watching. Like, I do it all the time as a fan. And this is why this channel is set up the way it is. Like, you'll hear me talking the positives, and then after a game, I'll be like, I feel like an absolute idiot. That's because I'm a fan and I love this football club. And it's hard to talk about them the way it is. But one thing I always said was, I'll just say it as it is. And I'm not seeing enough. Like, I really did see effort in that Liverpool game. And it changed my mind. Like, I thought, we were down twice, having been in front. The rest of this season would have finished this Man United side. But I thought, you know what, everyone put it in. And then yesterday, after the Brentford performance, I looked back on the Liverpool game and I just thought, you know what, it's because it was Liverpool at home in the FA Cup. All the cameras are there, everyone's watching, let's just show up. They cannot get themselves up for smaller teams, smaller games. You won't have to look at the points we've dropped this season to so-called lesser sides. I'm actually worried about what's going to happen when bleeding Burnley and Sheffield United roll up after what I watched yesterday. Like, they just don't get up for it. They don't get up for these games. And I am scared for this week and what is to come in Chelsea and Liverpool. I really am. Red Zone, Adam, have you looked at a few games when United have looked half decent? Come on, common denominator, Rashford not playing. Yeah, I know that one, I know. Like, going into Chelsea, I said this before, we was on a walk, Easter Sunday walk, and I looked at it and went, the only way that Ten Hag can show that he is holding any of these players accountable is if Mason Mount comes in and probably replaces Bruno. Casemiro comes in, replaces Scott McTominay. Ahmad or Anthony come in and replace Marcus Rashford. That is Ten Hag saying everything in one team selection for me. That's everything. That's all he can do right now. That's all he can do right now for me. And I feel like if he doesn't do that, then he's going to get more and more criticism for just playing Rashford for the sake of it. What does Rashford bring to this football team apart from a moment here and there? Nothing else. Nothing else at all. And it's difficult to argue a case for Marcus Rashford right now. It's difficult to argue a case for Bruno Fernandes and Scott McTominay. It is. Apart from moments, they've all got their moments in them and they've all had them this season. So you cannot tell me that Ten Hag is picking these players out of performance. He's picking them because he's being told he has to, for me. Like, I can't see any other way of explaining it. I really can't. I mean, you guys tell me. Get into the chat right now. 3 of them players all need to be out of the team this game against Chelsea. Sit it out. And if these players coming in, Casemiro, Mason Mount, Ahmad or Anthony, I want to give Anthony a chance. Do you know what? He was involved in that goal last night to show will and he showed eagerness. I would play Anthony ahead of Rashford. I said this, I'd play Anthony ahead of Rashford in the Liverpool game before. So this is nothing new. I'm not just knee-jerk reacting simply because we are being humiliated by Brentford. I was saying this before the Liverpool game. I'm not seeing enough from Marcus Rashford. I've still not seen enough from him. I want players to work as a team. Mount will work as a team player. Rashford won't. McTominay hasn't got the footballing IQ to play for 90 minutes and compete in midfield. He's an impact player off the bench. That's it. Casemiro and his leadership can bring more to United. Unfortunately, Martinez proved me wrong last night in him not being fit at all. I sort of come back and questioned why United would even bring him in to the squad if he couldn't, and he looked like he couldn't last 10 minutes last night. He looked out of his depth, fitness-wise, even when he came on the pitch for 10 minutes. So, yeah, it is a massive, massive worry. But, I mean, who is in the worst position right now? On the league table, you would say Pochettino and Chelsea. But that game, that game on Thursday, it is like the comment said earlier on, the delights of Manchester United against Chelsea. What once was the Jose Mourinho versus Alex Ferguson big crunch match, egos lock horns, let's just say. Now it's like who is going to get sacked. Chelsea against Manchester United is realistically an El Sacco. It won't happen after the game, I think, but it will just confirm, I think, that both managers are out of their depth in their jobs and what they're doing right now. Chelsea's and Pochettino's, I think, is a bit more unfair because they are an absolute shit show of a football club. They are embarrassing. And that's saying something coming from a United fan. It really is. Like, they are the pits. Like, awful. But still, if they beat United, I mean, let's just have a quick look at the table. And Chelsea are horrendous. They really are. But if Chelsea beat United, then they will be 5 points away from us. What does that tell you? That tells you absolutely everything. If Brighton beat Liverpool today, they will be 3 points behind us. Wolves are 7 behind us right now. So when you look at it, when I said at the top of the show, the biggest thing and the most concerning thing is, like, last night confirmed that United pretty much don't stand a chance of playing in the Champions League next season. We really don't. And I said at the top of the show that I'm more concerned now about us actually being in Europe at all. It looks like we're going to have to win the FA Cup to guarantee a place, because West Ham, 4 points behind us. Yeah, we've played a game more, but I think West Ham's running is definitely not as hard as Manchester United's running. Like, we're in big, big trouble here because we only have to lose another 3 games, which is easily doable. I mean, when you look at having to go to Brighton away and got Liverpool, Newcastle and Arsenal all at home to come, you can't help but fear for where we're actually going to finish this season. If these players cannot get up when fully fit, fully rested, having had 2 weeks off near enough, and I'm not over-egging that at all. Like, it was only Victor Lindelof who'd played 2 full games pretty much out of that whole team that lined up last night, and I don't want him in the team. I don't think he's good enough, but credit to him. He was awful, but at least he's actually showing that he's fit enough and looking after himself enough to play 2 games in a week. The rest of them, it's like, how dare you make me want to play 2 games in a week? This is wrong. You can't do this. I'm a Manchester United player on hundreds of £1,000s a week, and you want me to play 2 games? God, no. That's where we're at with this team. Like, I'll get into the chat. Did you watch the West Ham game? Yes, I did, actually, Graham. I watched it, and I thought West Ham were excellent for large parts of it. But what it showed to me was that you stay in it and show the willing to stay in the game, there's always a chance. Manchester United, for me, didn't yesterday. They were horrendous. Like, their attitude stinks. Ten Hag and Rashford need to go. They are there. You go. Problem solved. I think there's more than that, mate. I wish it was as simple as that. I really do. The Woodwork defending was top notch. It was fantastic. Like, our best defender was that Woodwork at the GTEC Stadium yesterday. It really was. It saved us numerous times. Like, Tony should have had a couple of goals. One narrowly off. I mean, they hit the Woodwork 4 times and had a goal disallowed. Like, it was a complete humbling. It was humiliating for Manchester United yesterday. And absolutely everybody is looking and laughing at Manchester United this morning and just saying, there they are again, the gift that keeps on giving. Banter FC is well and truly back in full force. Thank you, Manchester United. And we have to take it on the chin. What can we do as fans except turn up and watch this dross every single week? Louise, problem is nonsense of team bonding. Nonsense of team bonding when we didn't have a team. Needs to be team building. They are not the same thing. Get that. Adam, I blame the club when they gave Rashford that contract. They have created a monster. Erik ten Hag is running scared and can't manage anymore. He needs to stand up and be counted and drop these players. Keith Anderson, Ten Hag has embarrassed us and broken way too many records. This can simply not be defended. I get that. I understand that as well. And ultimately, in the end, they will get the sack because you can't be Manchester United manager and lose that many games, be beaten that many times. Andre Onana yesterday summed it all up when asked. I think Andre Onana was probably the one player that you could probably bring into an interview that probably wasn't hiding yesterday because they knew what backlash was coming. But when asked about bouncing back, I mean, God, that question alone tells you everything. But the way that Onana answered it told you even more. And the first line that came out of his mouth, having been asked the question about bouncing back, was, "We are used to it now." Oh, I give up. Like, we are used to it. Like, that's accepted. Like, you have to look at the senior players, he said, and we take responsibility. I look at myself. Manchester United, the biggest club in the world. Well, no, we're not on the pitch. We're the biggest club in the world because of things that happened before, but the players that are there right now don't deserve to be wearing that shirt. I'm not just going in on Onana and saying that. My main issue with what Onana said after the game yesterday was that we are used to it. And that just automatically came out of his mouth. He didn't say anything wrong. There was nothing bad in what he said. He was just being honest. And that's fine. But honesty and the truth hurts. And the truth tells you a lot. And the way he answered that question was that we are used to having to bounce back, tells you everything that's wrong with Manchester United this season and the fact that we will not win anything. Because if you're having to bounce back that many times, it means you have effed up so many times before it. So if you're used to having to do it, then you deserve to be where you are in the league. United won't finish any higher than 6. They really won't. Like, we need to win the FA Cup, I feel, to actually be in Europe now. I've gone in one day from United winning a double, God no, but winning the FA Cup and qualifying for the Champions League and Ten Hag keeping his job, to his job being gone and Manchester United clinging on to trying to get in the Europa League or the Europa Conference League in one performance, because they've just reminded us in this game how they really are. Their real true colours came through again last night. The sooner that green and white kit is gone, the better, because let's be honest, we are dead in that kit. It brings us no luck at all, does it? And it pains me because headlines for teams around us are mega, like mayhem and mistakes as Toon win thriller. The game, Newcastle's game yesterday, was a cracker. Like, mistakes, errors, injuries, penalties. It had absolutely everything. It really did. And I mean, it was very similar to Manchester United against Liverpool. Them games do come around every so often, but you do have to have the mentality to actually compete in games like that, because Newcastle were down and out. Like, they would have been forgiven for thinking that their luck is completely out, the injuries that are happening right now, and still they battled through. And just looking at like the table and where Newcastle actually are on Manchester United, like, they've played the same amount of games as us and they are 5 points behind us. They've still got to play us. Newcastle could easily finish ahead of United, and with the turmoil that they've been going through in their season, that would probably be the icing on the cake of this season. It really could. Wouldn't be surprised if United finished 8th in the league. It's been a bit knee-jerkish, I know, but I can only go off how I feel right now, and I work off, like, yeah, I can look at it and go, football can change. It can easily change, and Manchester United can pull out a performance or a couple of performances and change my mind again, but deep down it's like, you know that they're not going to do it. They're going to trip you up and disappoint you at some point further down the line, and we expect it now as a fan base. We do. It kills me to be talking like this, but it is what it is. Like, if we don't beat Chelsea then that pretty much is it for me. We need to win the FA Cup to actually be in Europe at all. Like, it's crazy to think it, but that's what's happened this season. We are stuck in a rut and there's no way out of it. Like, with these players, everyone's available now. The chance was there last night and they showed their true colours. Game over. It's embarrassing for Manchester United, it really is. Well, guys, that pretty much sums up the paper round. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all your comments, your super chats, and all of your input into the show. We are looking ahead to the Sunday show. Jay's internet went down last night, so he will be back again tonight on the Sunday show. We'll have a proper debate down, go over everything that is going down with United. Alien quick super chat there. Southgate turned Mainu into a man of the match player. It's a good point. He does that for England, but not for United. But there's a lot more to look at. There really is. I just need my lovely Kaz just to come and turn me off. And yeah, we can finish up the show. I do need a little bit of help in turning the stream off though. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get up out of my seat. Hopefully she can hear me in the background and we can end the show. I don't think she's even realised yet. She's just watching it. But guys, that is it. She's in the room now and we are all done and dusted. Have a great Easter, everybody. We'll be back tonight to go over it and analyse everything that's going down. Please do join us then at 6:30 this evening, everyone. Have a great Easter Sunday and try and forget about the football. I'll see you later on, everyone. Have a great one.